All right, here we are. Round 4. You asked for spicy decks. We got you from table 1. The spiciest final round. We are going to see Quentin versus Derek here on Bant Soulherder versus Bant Stoneblade. So we have 2 Bant piles. Digging for keeping hands.
Don't need no Rakdos colors in this match.
No. No black, no red. I would ask who's favorite here, but I'm not super familiar with either the Bant Stoneblade nor the Bant. Well, I've seen the Bant Soulherder deck a little bit.
But. So I actually imagine that Soulherder is pretty decently advantaged in a slow, grindy matchup. The deck really likes going in these super long, grindy games.
Yeah, that's true. They don't generate their value super fast, so. Neither of these decks is 5-color Niv Mizzet. Sorry to let you down. Quentin has Time Warp in hand, so. If only, yeah, I mean, we're going to get some extra turns here. In a big way.
Mostly to tilt myself, honestly. I usually just write my name. That'd be simple.
Derek fetching. Derek gonna cast Teferi Time Raveler on turn 2. Here he is. Gonna uptick. Have a turn. Quentin. A couple of Prismatic Vistas. Fetch. 19.
Fetching up a couple snow-covered duels for a Ice Fang Coatl that is likely to be played at this given time.
Lurking in hand. Play off a Snarist and a Snyland.
God.
Coatl. Draw a card.
And Teferi very strong against the Bant Soulherder deck. Shutting down cards like Ephemerate and Force of Negation is a big deal.
Really bad, actually. Yeah, that's really rough on them. And here's the stone. Gonna get the blade. Sword of Fire and Ice is the choice. Very strong. Really, really makes it difficult for Quentin to set up his creatures.
Yeah, protection from blue hits quite a few creatures in the deck, actually. And dealing 2 damage, again, very valuable. Lots of creatures that are 1/1s or such.
Absolutely, and with Teferi making it impossible to blink them in response to the trigger, you can just mow down anything Quentin has.
Yeah, Quentin is very far behind here.
Yeah, so despite the thoughts that Bant Soulherder is favored, this draw, really all due to the Teferi Time Reveler, is lining up extremely well for Derek.
Yeah, it looks like also Quentin just had a few too many lands, and I believe his first 2 draw steps of the game were both lands, so.
Yeah, not the best variance.
Having said that, this game is far from over. While Quentin is pretty far behind, the Bant Stoneblade deck has a hard time closing out the game, so that means that Quentin does have angles to go for a really long game and grind him out.
I feel like the Bant Stoneblade deck, even if you just pop that sword on the Stoneforge itself, is going to close pretty quickly. So here's a Coiling Oracle. We're going to find an Ephemerate, which is
pretty bad here.
Pretty not great.
Noble Hierarch will at least deny 1 sword trigger.
Yeah. Getcha!
Ooh, Exalted.
Take 2 Teferi. Unless you want to pass. No, I'm good. We got it handled. Huh, got my own Ice Fang. Gonna draw a card.
Notably with only 1 snow permanent at the moment.
No Death Touch here. We've got...
So being able to equip the Coatl here is very strong.
Nice. Yep. Yeah, that... Quinn's Coatl is not getting it again. Teferi protected. Probably gonna... Oh, we're just gonna send it and just kill things. Take 4. Kill your Ice Fang.
Worth noting that Quentin does have a Time Warp in hand, so he actually might be able to kill the Teferi here somehow.
Let's do the Time Warp again. I will sing that every time we cast it. Got a little preemptive there.
That might be.
I just don't want him to die before he casts. He's not that close to death. We're gonna get a Time Warp.
Yeah, this is gonna be a nice long game.
That's also the flavor text? Oh my god. I'm so happy.
So unfortunately, Quentin, things were looking a lot better for him before that Noble came down.
Yeah, he's going to have his...
I shouldn't say a lot better. They were looking a little bit better.
I have a strong suspicion that.
I mean, I imagine that we're just going to say Time Warp here.
Yep.
And actually, that Eternal Witness Ephemerate might be able to do some nasty things.
Swing. 2 it to Teferi. Teferi eats it. Goes to 3. Snap Vista. 13.
So despite Derek having a very strong start to begin with, Quentin's clawing his way back into this game maybe a little bit.
That would be sweet if he swings it.
The players are discussing the mismatching snow-covered basics.
Yeah,
It truly is a
Quentin-
travesty.
Quentin bringing the Cold Snap Snow Island or Snowlands, and Derek sporting a mixture of Cold Snap and the new UMA ones. So we're gonna time warp. Let's do the time warp again. Every time I tell you
Every
every
single-
time you can't stop me. So we've got Eternal Witness, Muldrifter, Ephemerate, and Ice Fang Quaddle for Quentin, I believe.
Unfortunately, not able to pull off the Evoke plus Flicker combo.
Not enough mana. Also, yeah, the Evoke Flicker combo is shut down by Teferi.
Although actually, in hindsight, it is a sorcery. Never mind.
Ewit grabs.
Grabbing Time Warp, making
grabbing-
sense.
Yep. So we're going to time warp again. But first, we're going to Ice Fang Quaddle. Try to have some defense. And if we can last this out, then Derek has to leave up the Ice Fang to block the Ice Fang to avoid losing Teferi. Because if he loses Teferi, I do believe this game gets busted wide
He
open.
is able to shoot it with the sword, though.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, this is not going to be pretty.
Also worth noting that Quentin has 2 out of 3 of his infinite turn pieces. The Ephemerate, the Eternal Witness. Actually, he just has all 3. So if he can get this Teferi off the battlefield, he actually wins the game on the spot.
Yep. Not looking.
So Derek passing with 4 mana up, choosing not to crack the Waterlogged Grove. Kind of an interesting
He may be
signal
waiting to do
here.
an end of turn, or he may be holding up interaction, or he may be bluffing interaction.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards him just having a couple Force Negations or something like that, which would, of course, shut down the combo completely, and
Yeah.
probably leave Quentin with no way of winning.
Yeah. Swing it to Fairy. Stoneforge has done its job. Yeah. Oracle sticks around. Sticky
Alright, so
snake.
here comes the Time Warp, it looks like.
Let's do the time. Yeah, he said, as Quentin says, do the time warp again.
I mean, you have to read the flavor text when you play a card.
Is that how you got the way you are?
Oh, absolutely.
Just always reading the flavor
Listen,
text?
kids, if you want to get quizzed on your flavor text knowledge, you got to start reading it today.
Every single time.
Every single time you cast it. You'll feel like a Yu-Gi-Oh villain, too.
Every single time you
You'll
cast
probably
the
tilt
time
your
warp
opponent.
again.
And if you're not tilting your opponent, what are you doing?
You're such a troll. Ugh. God, it's such a... I mean, it works, and this Bant Soulherder deck is super interesting. I like when it's sort of just grinding for value, but it's such a oddball infinite turns combo. I guess it's no more oddball than all the other infinite turns combos in Modern. Do you read all the flavor text even when playing Storm? Noble Hierarch. Quelled. Quell Speller. Coming out. No more Exalted for you. Gonna block. So, yep, there's that absolutely disgusting interaction between Spell Queller and Teferi Time Raveler. Just exile target spell. Why not?
Quell
Well-
Speller.
Quell Speller. Gonna take your Ephemerate. More disgusting interactions.
So yeah, losing a piece not great, although Quentin really did have to go for it there.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely. His play is 100% correct. It's just frustratingly difficult
It
to get
actually
rid of this
might have...
Teferi.
Oh, wait. I was going to say it might have been worth casting the Muldrifter for the full value, for the full cost, but...
Just to have a flyer.
yeah.
I mean, it ain't pushing through that Ice Fang, but an Ice Fang's gonna come in and kill it. Ugh. Alright. Quinn scoops it up. Just a really spectacular draw from Derek, and that Teferi specifically.
Yeah, the Teferi definitely mattered a lot in those last couple turns. Also, just, again, Quentin being very low on action really hurt him.
All right. Sideboard options for our players tonight in this last glorious round. We are going to see
Oh, I mean, if you don't want to, I'll take it. I don't have to.
from Derek, we have available 2 Damping Sphere, a Rest in Peace, 2 Collector Oof, 1 Gaddock Teague, 2 Force of Negation, 2 Unified Will, 2 Ashiok, a Deputy, and a Knight of Autumn. 2 Knights of Autumn. What do you like?
Honestly, I like
I mean, I don't mind being on.
one card on the entire sideboard, and that's Rest in Peace.
You're not into... Yeah, Unified Will, you're not necessarily going to get to work.
Yeah, Unified Will is very difficult to make work. Quentin
Force of Negation?
Force can be okay. The problem is that like a lot of Quentin's deck is creatures, and I believe that Derek is already main decking 2 forces, so
That's true.
you don't want to overload on that effect.
Yeah, that's a little heavy. Even if
uh,
you get to, exile Time Warp or Ephemery or something like that, it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
necessarily worth it, a little narrow.
Gaddock Teague, I don't believe hits
No.
anything. Knight of Autumn, same thing. Deputy, you don't really want to exile their creatures so they can flicker them back. Ashiok is a little slow.
I agree. All right. Light boarding there. Let's see what Quentin has available. We are going to see 1 Weather the Storm, 1 Jace the Mind Sculptor, 1 Venser, 1 Winds of Abandon, 1 Teferi Time Reveler, 2 Stony Silence, 1 Ceremonious Rejection, 2 Rest in Peace, 1 Thragtusk, 2 Knight of Autumn, and 2 Spell Snare. What do you like?
Jace is definitely the first card that stands out to me.
Yes.
I also kind of like Winds of Abandon.
Yes.
Venser is another decent piece of interaction. I think I'm okay with that card, even if it's perhaps not insane.
Yeah. I don't hate Spell Snare. Catch your Stoneforge.
I kind of like it and I kind of hate it.
I like it.
He also has Coatl. Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yeah.
probably good enough.
Yeah.
It's just very awkward in the face of Teferi.
That's a fact. God, Teferi. Why
Yeah.
does that card exist?
Just remember, guys, your counter spells are uncastable.
How do we feel about Venser?
Venser,
Bounce.
oh, he's fine.
Does it bounce Teferi?
Venser's good, actually.
Boom, boom.
Like,
Just really any way to get rid of Teferi. It's so backbreaking.
I mean, I don't feel like Venser's a good answer to Teferi, because usually what happens is that taps you out and then they just play the Teferi again.
Yeah, but
But
if you can grind long enough and survive.
it's good. Also, another interesting thing is that flickering Venser and just bouncing all of their lands is a viable line for this deck.
Oh yeah. You'd also bounce a blocker attack Teferi.
Or like bounce a sword when they're attacking.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Oh, that could be rather nasty.
that could be a tricky play. So yeah, Venser just a nice card.
I like Venser a lot.
2 lands for the Mole Drifter. Yeah, looks like those were not some great top decks.
Yeah, Quentin did not hit the best draws there. Variance. The winds of variance very much blowing in the other direction. Oh, 3 Force of Negation, Coiling Oracle, Windswept Heath, Noble Hierarch, Winds of Abandon for Quentin. So it looks like we did see Winds of Abandon come in. I don't.
This hand looks
I don't
like a
know about-
mulligan to me.
Yeah, I'm not about that. We've got a Noble Hierarch into Meh. 3 Force is a little rough.
Yeah, definitely don't want 3 Force there.
No,
if he had
that's-
maybe like a Coiling Oracle, he would have had a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like it. Agree with this mulligan.
Yeah, so definitely a disciplined mulligan. Good job, Quentin. Derek is keeping 7, it looks like.
Let's see what we get. Let's get 6 of these 7. Looks like we did bring in the Spell Snare. We've got Soulherder. We've got Eternal Witness, Spell Snare, Vista, 2 Soulherder actually.
Yeah, and definitely
Windswept Teeth and Teferi.
I would keep pretty much any functional 6. You don't really want to fall super far behind in cards in this matchup.
No. Looks like we're bottoming the second Soulherder.
Good idea, probably.
Yeah.
Eternal Witness, Soulherder, a very, very strong combination.
I like Regrowth. I don't know if you like Regrowth, but I'm into it. So we're going to snap
You know what's
that
better than 1 regrowth? Infinite regrowths.
infinite. Well, this reminds me a little bit of the Eternal Command deck.
It does, actually.
It's the Blink deck has the advantage in the Eternal Command deck of not being like stone dead to Leviter, but
Okay, Leviter died when Faithless Looting died. We're safe.
I mean, you say that, but did you see that Kelmfiend deck?
You're not wrong.
I think Prowess still runs it. Prowess is still real.
Prowess is just all part of that nightmare we woke up from a week ago. Hogak is
But
no
did
longer
we
legal.
wake up, or are we still dreaming?
Oh god.
We
I-
must go deeper.
The Matrix. We just have a bunch of Hogaks liquidized.
Oh god. Oh no.
Alright, back to the game of Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, we're just fetching some lands. We're shuffling. It's modern.
So it looks like Quentin picked up a Teferi. That's definitely a
That
very
in his
good one.
opener, I believe.
Really, he just looks like a fistful of 3-drops, so he's really hoping to just pick up a land here. He's also hoping that Derek will just run a 2-drop into this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be awfully
Spell snare.
convenient if he decided to say, nah, cast a Stoneforge Mystic. So I see a big Teferi for Derek in his hand as well. So we're just going to flood his
Is
strand
that a big
past the
Teferi?
turn. Yeah, it's a big Teferi. It's a big boy.
All grown up.
About to graduate from Standard. Goodbye. We're going to get a Snarist off our Prismatic Vista. Noble Hierarch. I believe that was the draw for turn, since
Not quite a land.
She slept in,
I mean, hey, better late than never.
holding up Spell Snare.
What are you gonna do? Have to exile me?
More Modern Horizons.
The players are discussing the merits of basic lands from different sets.
Quentin calling out the excellent purple Shadowmoor swamps. All the Shadowmoor basics. Quentin's completely correct. All the Shadowmoor basics are great.
You know,
The lore ones are
All basics
amazing
are good.
too. Magic the Shuffling. Yeah, I mean, welcome to Modern. I love Modern, but yeah.
looks like Ice Fang eats the spell snare.
Seems like a good thing to do with a
Yeah,
spell
you probably
snare.
want to just fire it off before he just slams it to Fairy and your card's just dead.
You mean like what's going to happen? Maybe. Nope, just
Ashiok.
Ashiok. Oh, we did bring Ashiok here.
Do we even care about Ashiok?
Apparently we do. We're going to exile Soulherder to get rid of Ashiok. We
That's
care a lot.
quite aggressive.
Yeah.
I think I would have exiled the Teferi because the Soulherder seems like a better value plan.
I am inclined to agree with that, but I don't know what Quentin is thinking, so he may have a line in mind for this.
Yeah.
So we have Teferi. We're going to minus draw a card.
Ooh, hit that land we needed.
There we go. And we're back on track.
And we're back in business.
We have Eternal Witness. Yeah, I'm going to miss that Soulherder. One single tier.
Looks like another Teferi? Deputy.
Deputy. Yikes. Take your Teferi. Not for you. Only for me. Horizon Canopy. Take a damage out of 15. Giver of Runes. Good luck. Removing my stuff. What do we got, Quentin? Let's see the plan. Okay, we drew an Ephemerate.
Ephemerate, incredibly powerful here.
That is not at all bad.
So yeah, I imagine we're going to see the Eternal Witness getting back the Force, and then we're going to see an Ephemerate.
Yes.
Or getting back a land.
We're
That's
gonna get
also a
the
viable
land. Yeah,
option.
make a land drop. I hear land drops are good.
And then hold up Ice Fink a while.
Yeah, if
Okay,
we
so I
pick-
like this
yeah.
line too.
I mean, Derek has a lot of creatures. Picking up Force with the intent to pitch Ice Fang and just mess up your card advantage even worse does not seem... I mean, that seems sort of like a tunnel to nowhere. Here's
Big
5 mana Teferi.
Boy Teferi.
The big man himself. Now we wish we'd picked up that Force, but what are you going to do? He resolves. We're going to draw a card on tap 2 lands. Oh, this again. Where's the broken nonsense you want in your Modern? Oh, calm down. There's a Teferi on the battlefield. Sorry. No. Don't mean to teach you too much.
Unfortunately, Ephemerate is a sorcery. Otherwise, that would be a really good line.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Some people just want to show up to Modern for infinite value. They don't want to win the game. They just want value.
Hey. Without the Soulherder, it's not infinite value. It's just a lot of value.
Exactly. Never ending.
It's totally fair. It's just a lot. But I like how you can play a deck that's this slow now. This was unheard of. Oh, it's an instant.
Oh, it is an instant.
Yeah, I thought
Oh,
it was an
wow.
instant. I was like,
Okay.
oh, maybe I was wrong. It says, but you can blink something in response. That's like actually the power of this deck is they can't really get rid of your threats. They have to wait for you to blink them and then try to kill them in response. And then if they just don't blink them, you just have to bleed. And I think that's the interesting position that the Bant Soulherder deck puts you in when you play against it.
Mm-hmm.
If we can blink that Coiling Oracle and maybe hit some more land drops, that might be nice.
I'm kind of wondering what
We
if
need
Derek
to
has
kill
the
Terry.
thing. Okay, so it looks like he does not have the Ice Fang to flash in. Also worth noting that he did. Ooh,
Okay,
the
here we
path
go.
in response
This
is a
is this is
huge
why you
blowout.
hold the interaction and wait for the blink, and this is why you hold the blink to wait for the interaction.
Yeah.
I think maybe that was too aggressive. I'm not sure what Quentin was hoping for.
Well, I mean, it's not inconceivable to think that Derek might not have a path, but at the same time, it was a little too aggressive to go over there, especially given how that Ephemerate is so incredibly valuable in this position, and it's your only card left in hand that matters.
And I believe it doesn't rebound now.
Correct.
Yeah. So, unless you really, really needed that witness, I would probably hold off there.
Yeah.
But
And
Quentin
also-
may have had a line in mind.
And also, a Turd Blue Marine, looks like your line was definitely worth considering. Yeah, it looks like I was wrong about that. Ephemerate is an instant.
Yes. Yeah, so he could have countered to Fairy, but decided not to. Wanted to make the land drop instead. Yeah, I think even if you lose the Ice Fang.
Yeah, I think perhaps getting the land back was a little too aggressive there. Or a little too slow there, I should say.
Especially, yeah, if you can do it all in response. Oh, Hexdrinker. Hello. Would you like... Oh, God. Here we go. So we have a Hexdrinker that is basically unkillable with an active Giver of Runes. We're going to level... Are we leveling? No.
Yeah, so it looks like this game is pretty much over unless Quentin can somehow string together an infinite turn sequence here.
We are going to build a completely unreasonable 6/6.
While Quentin might be able to survive this turn, he really needs to find something pretty... Like, I'm trying to think of what even gets him back into this game at this point.
Hey, you know what Hexdrinker doesn't have protection from?
What's that?
Ensnaring Bridge. I know that's not relevant right now, but I'm just stating.
I mean...
Giver of Runes, Hexdrinker, none of these cards.
I mean, technically speaking, if you turn turn Ensnaring Bridge into a creature, Hexdrinker would have protection from it.
That's a fact. If it could only attack.
Oh, shit. I thought of everything.
I did, didn't I? Alright, we're gonna level.
One.
Level up. Ba-do-do-do. Ba-do-do-do.
I'm F6, he says.
I am F.
Level up as much as you want.
You just go for it. What could go wrong? 3.
So actually, so if you're Quentin, you have to be thinking what string of draws could I possibly put together that gets me back into this game. I think as long as you draw your one Time Warp, as well as some way to like if you Time Warp into Eternal Witness into a Flicker effect, then you win.
Yes.
And you have to think that-
However, if Derek sets up in a position to have a lethal attack the following turn, he could sack Ranger Captain to shut you off.
That's true. Yeah, Ranger Captain
So he
could
yeah.
shut him down there.
Quentin has to do
Also
it.
worth considering that Ranger Captain does shut down Rebound.
Yes. Yes, it does. And so... Oh. Quell spelled.
And that's
And
good
that
enough.
spells the quelling of Quentin's match. Unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, looks like Quentin's draw is maybe not the strongest that match.
No.
But
Derek
also-
had a lot of power going on.
Yeah, and also just a very intricate matchup. Lots of different decision paths to make, so both players really have lots of choices there.
I like both these decks. They are cool.
Yeah, I definitely like it. I think that the Bant Stoneblade deck is probably going to be one of the prominent Stoneforge Mystic decks, just because the mana acceleration that green provides is pretty nice.
Yeah, though I've wondered a little bit about Noble Hierarchs and some of the Stoneblade decks, just because you actually have a 2 you want to hit on 2. and usually Noble Hierarch helping put you at 3. Though he's got, in the Bant deck, you actually have reasonable 3-drops that you want to play on turn 2, which I think makes it different from some of the other Stoneforge decks where it's not super
Yeah,
useful.
like having Teferi is quite nice.
Yeah.
It's like a 9 short.
Okay, so we're sort of going over the Bant Soulherder deck and a lot of Quentin's flicker targets. This is super nice. So we're going to see he's got Watcher of Tomorrow, he's got Wall of Blossoms, he's got Cleek, he's got a lot of choices, and this deck is super toolboxy and really cool. I don't think it's quite there yet. Like, I don't think it's top of the meta, but I think it is a sweet deck. Super fun to play, super interesting to play against. There's all these weird games of chicken.